Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new weekly watch roundup where I run through all those things that I've been watching over the past 7 days. In this, a week from hell for me. I'll get into that too. Let's go. Okay, yeah, so if you're new to the channel, I do this every week. A quick roundup on what I've been watching. Now, not too much this week. I've had a horrid week. I really have. I've had a horrible week. Obviously, it was a bank holiday Monday. If you're outside the UK, it was a bank holiday Monday a week ago. So that day I didn't work. But I had 2 days on a course, Tuesday and Wednesday, going back to work. 2 days, and I had to go to Basingstoke for said course. Now, Basingstoke for me is about 50 miles away, not too far. Doesn't take too long to drive there and drive back. So I was down there, like I said, for a course. Actually, I was there for a first aid course to learn about, basically, okay, I do a full first aid course, primarily because I get an additional 2 days holiday a year with my job for it. So I get 32 days holiday a year, and that's not including the bank holidays, so pretty damn good. So I wanted to retain them 2 days. Now, the first aid that I do does go into quite extensively into sort of traumatic amputations and things like this for the job that I do. So it's quite intense in that sense. So anyway, but that's by the by. So basically what happened was I took my car from here to my place of work, where I swapped into one of the vans to take me to Basingstoke and bring the van back here. Now, the van that I had, diesel obviously, had been filled with AdBlue, which is a preservative that, if you don't know, it sort of mixes with the emissions from the diesel to reduce the poisonous or the bad emissions that come out. I think it's a byproduct of pig urine, is AdBlue. They use that in it as far as I'm aware. Don't quote me on that, I may be wrong, but I think that's the way it goes. So anyway, the van had been topped up with that, but the van said I only had 117 miles left before the AdBlue run out, which isn't the case. But with these vans, once that AdBlue gets to 0, once it tells you it's got to 0, the van enters a limp mode where it goes very slowly and won't run. And yeah, so anyway, so okay, that's the initial thing. I didn't know whether the computer, on-board computer, would read that or not read that. I didn't know what would happen. But 50 miles as the crow flies. So yeah, and I had 117 in this van on the AdBlue. So anyway, I head off. When I come home at the end of the course finished quite early, about 2:30. Heading back home up the A3 and come over Guildford. And this is going towards London. Come over Guildford, and I hit an accident. Not me hitting an accident. Not literally, but I hit traffic because there's an accident up ahead, so it slows the journey down. Right, fair enough. That wasn't too bad. About 20 minutes. Carried on. Hit the M25 turn off. Heavy traffic again there, because you get 3 lanes, 1 for the M25, 2 for the A3 going straight on, but other people use the other 2 lanes to try and edge into the M25 one, which is queued as it is, and it just slows it all down. Okay, so that's that done. Over the M25, heading up the A3 into London, and I think it's near Merton or Morden, New Malden turn off. There's a bloody jackknifed lorry, right? This lorry, and I get caught in this, and obviously the police are diverting, and I'm caught in that for ages, trying to get out of it. And anyway, all in all, it took me 3 hours and 20 minutes to get home from Basingstoke, right? And then about 2 miles from home, this van hits 0, but nothing happens. So I pull up at home because I'm using the van for the next day to get. So anyway, I get up, and it's playing on my mind in the night. So I wake up the next day at 2:30. I get up at 3:30. I've said to my missus, look, I'm going to get the van, I'm going to take it in now, get to work early, I'll drive down to Basingstoke early in another van, and I'll have a sleep down there in the van, you know. So I step outside, I get in the van, won't bloody start, will it? Alright, I didn't know this, but these vans, when this thing hits 0 and you turn the van off, it ain't going to start again. So this van doesn't start. I'm doing my head in at this point. So I say to my missus, I'll deal with that later. I'm going to take your car, right, because my car's already at work, so I'm going to take your car to work. And then I'll bring your car back at the end of the day. I'll go get another van, Basingstoke in the van, back to my depot, and bring your car home. Halfway there, car overheats. The car starts overheating. Oh. So I do manage to get it to a petrol station. This is in Balham, and I go and check, and at this point the water's just flooded out everywhere over the overflow, and so I go and buy some coolant, pour it in, head off to where I am in Wimbledon. Lo and behold, does it again. So the pump stopped working or something like that, but this isn't getting into the radiator, so I have to leave that car there, and it's still there, still abandoned there at where I work. I'm dealing with that in the week. So I get another van, but they're not filled up. People ain't filled them up, and I ain't got access to the petrol cards. So I've got enough mileage to get me down there. So I go to Basingstoke in it, and I have to call up one of my colleagues, and I say to him, look, he's someone who sort of does stuff for me. And I say to him, look, I need you to come down to Basingstoke straight away. As soon as you get in, head to Basingstoke, just take this van, fill it up for me, and yeah, and then you're done. So that's that. So he filled that van up, and that's fine. That's all well and good. So that's that sorted. So that's when, by this time it's Wednesday, obviously. So then come Thursday morning, I'll try ringing, our recovery people. They don't, getting hold of them on Wednesday was impossible. Then on the next day, and I'm at work. No, I'm Thursday. This is now. So Thursday I work from home because I'm in meetings all day. Online meetings since COVID, that's the way it's gone, so a home day for me. But only the meeting usually starts at 9:30, but this day had been pushed to 1 o'clock, 1:30, because someone not being available, so the morning was free. So I rang the RAC, or the people that do everything, they put me through to the RAC. RAC geezer comes, he manages to get the van started, but he says to me, you've got to get it to a main dealer now, because when this van is turned off, it ain't going to start again. So I'm like, okay, I'm jumping in it now, and I'm taking it to Wimbledon. Once it's at Wimbledon, at the depot, I can deal with it after that, later down the line. I ain't got to get it to a main dealer. So, obviously, but if I stall the van, it's gonna bloody switch off again, innit? So I have to get it from it. Although it's quite hard to stall these vans. So anyway, but I didn't stall it. So I got it there anyway, and then my colleague that was there, I said to him, look, drive me back home. Now I was just dressed in a pair of shorts. I had no boxer shorts on underneath. I had a t-shirt I'd just literally grabbed out of the wash, right? And then so that was it. So my week was just mental with this stuff. So there we go. So that's where we're at. Anyway, that's that. And that's that. I filled 8 minutes talking about some nonsense story of me with vehicle issues. So I'm just going to get on with this. But let me have a quick break, then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to roll through these quick. So the first thing I watched was Resident Alien. Oh, sorry. So I'm going to go with TV first and then film, because there ain't many... So Resident Alien is the first thing on this list. Not probably the first thing I watched, but there we go.
This is some bullshit.
Now, Resident Alien, decent show, but I don't know. It does my nut in that this programme hasn't got an A and B plot to it, that is structured in such a way that it has an A, B, C, D and E plot all mixed into one, with all the characters in the show having the need to have a storyline in each episode. And so you find yourself invested in some and not invested in others, and this sort of thing. I did review the episode. That's all I'm going to say about it. Bloody hell. Then we had Harley Quinn, the animated DC series. Harley Quinn. Now,
Cock King! It's Clock King, honey. Cock King's the other guy.
Bingo bango.
This episode had Harley Quinn and gang probe the mind of Bruce Wayne, who they've kidnapped, and they go into Bruce Wayne's mind, and it's fantastic because when they actually go in, they enter his mind and they go in. They actually land in the sort of Batman the Animated Series world. The backdrops are that, you know, the red sky and the dark skyscrapers. It looked fantastic. It was really good, really good. Batman in his mind, he's just reliving the death of his parents over and over, and this is all his mind is the reliving the parents' death and the parents' shooting. But Harley Quinn manages to stop one of these killings and take the young Bruce away from that, and they go on a journey through his mind, and you see scenes from, like, you know, that you know is Batman Returns and all this sort of stuff. It was really, really good, really cleverly done, and it's a fantastic animated series. It really is. Next up was Star Trek Lower Decks. Now, Star Trek Lower Decks, I was going to review on a weekly basis, but I can't review it. I just can't review it because I cannot talk about comedy. I cannot. For some reason, I find it very difficult to review comedy. It's probably because of the Lost in Translation type of thing and all that sort of stuff. And this is really just a show that you need to watch, made with a lot of love towards Star Trek and this sort of thing. It is good. It is very good. But yeah, so there's that. And then we have She-Hulk. Now, I'm going to do a video on She-Hulk because there's a lot of hate that this programme's getting, and I don't think people understand it. I really don't.
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the people are protected by two separate yet equally important groups. The heroes who save them and the attorneys who clean up their collateral damage. But only one can be both. This is her story. Dun dun.
Lawyer show. So, I'm not really going to talk about She-Hulk here. This was episode 3. I'm going to do my own video focused on She-Hulk, talking about my thoughts on it, what the programme gets right, why people dislike it, why I believe they dislike it, and this sort of a thing. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe hit the notification bell and you'll see when that comes up. That'll be very soon. I may have already filmed it by the time you watch this. I might film it later today and have it up later tomorrow after this. I don't know, we'll see. I may have filmed it and put it up before this and already done it. So if I have, go back and check that out. But I don't know how this is going to fall. But there we go. So anyway, so that's it for TV. So yeah, film. Let's do the movies. Let's do the films. Okay, so first film, The Fall. Yes, the story of these two young girls after a tragedy befalls them. They decide to go and climb a 2,000-foot high B-67 radio tower in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the America somewhere.
Trust me. What was that? Oh my God! Oh my
God! And this is a tower that's old and in disuse, and has sort of weathered to the elements over the years, and, you know, definitely shouldn't be climbing it. But, you know, you get these YouTubers and these, you know, people like that, or whatever the other social media things are called. I don't know. Anyway, they go and they climb things, don't they? Like, you know, here in London, they've got to the top of things like Canary Wharf and things like that. They broke in, they've got up there, and they'll go to building sites and climb cranes, all this sort of crazy stuff. And they're up there without fall arrest systems and harnesses and all that. They're just crazy, and then they hang from the sides and like, oh, look, get me some likes. And then, you know, people have fallen to their death doing it. They have. But anyway, it's these sort of people. Well, one of them is reluctant to do it because she was an avid mountaineer, but the other girl's now become one of these sort of people. And anyway, they go up there, they get stuck, don't they? And it's a story of survival. Anyway, I found it very good. It had a great sort of story arc for the main girl throughout. That was very good. It's very effective in what it does, especially if you are scared of heights. Now, I'm not a great fan of heights, but this did have me feeling on the edge of my seat as the film ramped up its tension, and what it would be like to be stuck up on top of this thing with the wind blowing. And do you know what I mean? It was good. There is some predictability in the plot. unfortunately. But there is also a twist that I didn't see coming as well. So that's that. That's very good. Now, the next thing I watched was Jurassic World Dominion.
Jurassic World? Not a fan.
Yeah, now when I watched this the first time, I didn't really enjoy it too much. So I've watched it for a second time, and it's the extended version. A lot of the extended scenes do happen at the very beginning of the film. Very much so. That's where it is. And I'm in two minds about it. In that, number one, it looked great to see more of the dinosaurs, more of what dinosaurs are doing in the world and this sort of a thing. But it does stretch out the beginning of the film. I did feel that for pacing issues, these cuts were the correct decision to make for that purpose. But the film wasn't as bad as what I thought it was the first time around. Maybe this is because I now know what I'm going and getting into. And that. But, however, the film does rely heavily on people being in the right place at the right time, things just literally falling at your footsteps, you know, plot conveniences all the way through, which do take me out of the film. The ending with, I forget the character's name now, Dodson, we got Dodson here.
Dodson! We've got Dodson here!
His death, okay, I've got an issue with his death because he goes into these tunnels and he gets killed, doesn't he? Right. And now, earlier on in the film, they go into the tunnels and they see those creatures with the, you know, the dinosaurs with the spines on their back that we haven't seen before. And there is a dead body, there is a skull that the girl throws at one of them. And there's a backstory to that skull as well. But that was in sort of other stuff, as in online advertising. There was a little bit of redacted comments about someone going missing in the mine. So that has been covered. But anyway, I digress. But then Dodson gets killed by the dinosaurs. You know, the ones. And it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Okay, it makes sense to me as a plot point, as a sort of arc for that character, because Dennis Nedry was killed by them, and now you got the canister that he had, and Dodson's got that canister, and so it kind of makes sense in that aspect, but not in that we haven't seen these dinosaurs in the mines, that we saw these other dinosaurs in the mines. These ones weren't introduced in the mines, so that kind of stuff it just doesn't work. It wants to work and it doesn't work. And then the final battle with the T-Rex and the Edward Scissorhands dinosaur, and the big one, it's not earned. It's not earned at all. Now, there is a scene at the very beginning of the film, now that's included in the extended edition, in the past, where you see a T-Rex get killed by one of these dinosaurs. So it's kind of like, but it's not the same T-Rex, it's in the past. So I don't know. But anyway, so that kind of makes it even more a bit sort of like in my mind, like, what? So this battle isn't deserved, because there's a scene earlier in the film where the T-Rex is gonna eat a dead deer as a scavenger. The T-Rex is portrayed as a scavenger here, which I did like that. And then the big dinosaur comes, sort of, and T-Rex walks away, and it picks up and eats the deer, and that's it. And then you got this big battle at the end, which is just tacked on because it's at the ending of the film, and it's not earned. Do you know what I'm saying? The dinosaur's just doing what it's doing. It ain't like it's hunted them down or anything like this. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, and I know you did have a scene with a big dinosaur trying to get the humans, but it's just, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. But anyway, it was better than what I remembered it. And then the last thing, and I'm not going to talk about this film because I'm halfway through, and that is Zodiac. Yes, Zodiac. So that'll be next week. I'll be talking about that. Anyway, and that's it. That's what I've watched. That's my week. A really crappy week. It's done my nut in. I'm glad it's over, and I'm hoping this week has a lot more decent stuff in store for me in respect of work-wise, and not getting caught in traffic jams and accidents and whatever else. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. This is AJ. Thank you for watching, and hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you've been watching. Let me know your thoughts on any of this stuff if you've seen it, down below. I'll see you later. Take care all, and Goodbye.